How so? What do you mean?
The soldiers are fighting.
Yes.
You know, for example, if let's say there are 10 battles to fight to finish Boko Haram, the soldier is fighting one battle after the other. But the final victory will not be declared by the
soldiers.
By the soldiers. It is the government. So whoever that's in government has to mobilize the entire nation and bring down the uprising. Why are these people? What is the reason for this fight in Maiduguri? I mean, in the northeast. The government has to find out and negotiate with the persons. The people fighting the battle in northeast might not necessarily. They are just people hired. The actual people fighting the battle are here in Abuja. They are in Kano. They are in Port Harcourt. The government should fish them out. The government should get them and negotiate with them. Where do you think these boys in the bush getting their arms to fight the soldiers? And who is giving them the tactics to confront one of the best armies of the world, Nigerian army? We have a reputation of keeping the world peace internationally right from 1960 to date. We have that reputation. United Nations always insists when there's crisis, the Nigerian army should be there. And of course, we were trained in the military. We were trained for conventional war.
Not this guerrilla.
So when it started, it was difficult. But the Nigerian army is consistently retraining itself to cope with this. But that's, you see, it's very sad. Our politicians are not doing their best. For example, when the Chibok girls were arrested, I mean, were kidnapped. That's the following day, there was a kind of international football match in Akwa Ibom, in Uyo, to open a new stadium. I expected that the governor of that state, the government of that state will order for a standstill 1 minute at least in remembrance of our girls who've been kidnapped. Nobody throughout the country, nobody stood still for these girls. So we don't even care about ourselves. Life does not matter for us in this country. And I'm sorry, our soldiers who gave in their life are being killed. Many are losing their lives. And civilians you go to Ibadan, people are behaving as if there's no war. Go to Sokoto, people are behaving as if there's no war. Whereas soldiers are dying, the people in the northeast are dying, they are being displaced. The government needs to stop this war.
If you become president, how will you do this?
I will still deploy my soldiers, but I must find the root cause. People are suffering. Nigerians are suffering. The first thing to do, which is part of my agenda when I become president, I have 5-point agenda. And one of them is this unemployed youth. We have over 20 million unemployed university graduates. But on the whole, we have over 60 million Nigerians, youth who are not employed. On becoming president, and as I said before, we are sitting on gunpowder. Our youth are damn good. They are just very good. If they were not good, I'm very sorry for this country. We have great youth, and they are vibrant, and I love them. So I'm becoming the president. The first thing I will do is to set up an agency in the presidency, youth agency in the presidency. I'm not taking my youth to the Ministry of Youth and Sports, where they will be ignored. They will be directly under the presidency. All this money Nigerians are packing and keeping overseas. What comes during my time, I'm going to invest it on our youth. Within 12 months, if I have not finished handling all of them, at least Nigeria will know that, and the youth also will know that Nigeria cares for them. And besides the youth, apart from making them productive, engaging them and making them productive, which is what we should be doing, we haven't. The president said our youth are idle. If they're idle, it's because the government has made them idle. If you have children and you train them, you don't give them equipment, you don't support them, what do you expect them to do? What are we doing with our youth? What support are we giving to them? Parents suffer, send their children to school, get to university, suffer and pay school fees, and by the time they finish, go NYC, come back, they start sharing shirts with their fathers. And the girls started sharing clothes with their mothers. Sleeping in the same house. And they cannot marry, especially the boys, because the lack of jobs. So what do you expect them to do? We have made them idle. It's a responsibility. All this money Nigerians are packing overseas. All this money that's paid to members of the National Assembly. What for? Should I become president today? That money they are paying the president today. If we can put together the one that part of what is given to the National Assembly, we will take care of millions of youth. But in any case, when I become president, I'm not going to pursue the so-called corrupt people. If I have to do it, I will do it. But my greatest concern is that what I get will be invested on youth and women. Apart from having the youth in my agency, in the ministry, in the presidency, I will also set up the same this thing for women. Our women are suffering. Go to any village in Nigeria, see what women are going through, taking care of their children. I will encourage women to set up cooperative societies, and they will be assisted through microfinance banks and other financial institutions, finance institutions that will handle women. We may not do it at once, but at least we have a project to make sure that all over the country our women are recognized and treated as mothers, wives, sisters, and so forth. The youth are being ignored in this country. The women are being ignored. And when I come in, I'm going to take care of our women and take care of our youth. And when you do that, there will be less corruption. There will be a lot of productivity because the youth will be producing, the women too will be producing, and the economy will boom. But where you have challenges, you have to get to the root of it. Why are the Niger Delta youth unhappy? What is disturbing them? What is disturbing those people in the Northeast? If tomorrow we have similar thing in Sokoto, what is disturbing the youth in Sokoto? We must find out. But if we start treating all the youth as your own children, and they are the owners of this country, whether we like it or not, it is their own country. The next 40 years, the next 30 years, Nigeria, we are about 180 to 190 million people today. The next 30 years, Nigeria is going to be over 400 million people.
Is that itself not a problem, General?
That's why I'm coming.
Because people talk about the fact that our population is
no, but let's handle this first. When you cannot take care of the youth and learn and teach them how to be leaders, how to take care of their society, the next 30 years, those youth who are 30 now, 25, many of them will be 60, 70, and they'll be the one handling Nigerian problem. And you have not engaged them in any administration, in any economic productivity. They are not involved in anything. How do you expect them, if any of them become governor, any of them become president, how do you expect them to handle this thing? So my administration will not only empower youth, we will also train them as leaders. And for example, if I make a minister, an elder, a minister, a youth should be a minister of state to be trained by that minister. And parastatals, where you have somebody, you also appoint many youth, women and men, youth, to work under that person, so as to engage them, teach them, mentor them.